In today's lesson, we shall be working on solving linear equations, and we shall be focusing on absolute value. All right, let's get started. Example 1, find the absolute value x equals to 7. So now you can place it x in the parentheses and equate it to 7. And then finally, x is equals to 7. This is on one occasion. On second occasion, you have the absolute value equals to 7 and place it in a parenthesis and just place a negative sign here and equate that to 7. So if you distribute the negative sign into the content of the parenthesis, then you have negative x equals 7. And if you divide both sides by negative 1, then x will be equals to negative 7. So when solving absolute value, the answer is always 2, such that 1 is positive. So the answer to this question is now 7 or negative 7. So this is the answer to this question, and I hope it makes some sense. All right, so that is it for this question. Now let's move on to the next one. If you have example 2, find the absolute value (5) plus the absolute value of x equals to 8. Now, since 5 is included in this question, all you have to do is to get rid of 5. That should be the first step. And since it's a positive value, we can eliminate 5 from here by simply subtracting 5 from both sides. So this will become 5 minus 5 plus the absolute value of x equals to 8 minus 5. So now 5 minus 5 is simply 0. So we can strike it from here. And now you are left with the absolute value of x on the left side. And this is equal to 8 minus 5, which is 3. So at this point, we can now place the x value in a parenthesis and equate that to 3. So if you clear the parenthesis, x will be equals to 3. On the other hand, the absolute value of x is equals 3. And if you place that in a parenthesis, and first you must place a negative sign here and a negative sign here and equate that to 3. So if you clear the parenthesis, then you're going to have negative x is equals 3, divide both sides by negative 1, and negative is going to cancel negative from here. So x is equals to negative 3, and finally x is equals 3 or negative 3. So this is the answer to this question. I hope it is clear. Let's go on to the next one. Example 3. If you have find the absolute value, negative 4, absolute value of x is equals to negative 20. The first thing we are going to do is to get rid of negative 4 by simply dividing both sides by negative 4. So divide both sides by negative 4. Negative is going to cancel negative from here, and 4 would cancel 4 from here. Also, negative is going to cancel negative from here. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So the absolute value of x is equals to 5. You can clear the absolute value sign and use the parenthesis and then equate that to 5. So when you clear the parenthesis, x automatically is 5. Also, place a negative sign here and equate this to 5. Use a parenthesis, equate it to 5. Clear the parenthesis, negative x is equals to 5. Divide both sides by negative 1. And then negative is going to cancel negative from here. And x will be equals to negative 5. Therefore, x is equals to 5 or negative 5. Now, the concept of 5 and negative 5 is simply the distance away from the origin. Let's say you have, let's use a straight line. If you have a straight line and this is the origin, and of course the origin is 0, and you have 1, you have 2, you have 3, you have 4, and you have 5. And also you have negative 1, you have negative 2, you have negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, and now the absolute value of 5, the absolute value of 5 because we said x is equals to 5. First, we started with the absolute value of x and we discovered that x is 5. The absolute value of 5 is simply the distance from the origin. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So it's either 5 or you move again in the left direction. 1. Okay, let's use a different color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you see, the absolute value of 5 is either -5 or +5. So it's actually the distance away from the origin. That is why it's always positive or negative. It's one of them. All right. Let's now go on to the next question. Example 4. So if you have said find the absolute value, find the absolute value. 5 absolute value of x minus 4 is equal to 26. Now the first thing we are going to do is to get rid of this value, -4, and we can do that by adding 4 to both sides. So 5 absolute value of x -4 plus 4 is equal to 26 plus 4. And -4 plus 4 is 0. So we can simply cancel this from here. And now we have 5 absolute value of x is equal to 30. Next, we have to divide both sides by 5. And 5 is going to cancel 5 from here. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 30 divided by 5 is 6. So the absolute value of x is equal to 6. Now, we can place the x in parentheses, equate that to 6, clear the parentheses, and equate that to 6. And also place a negative sign before the absolute value, and you could equate this to 6. Use a parenthesis, equate that to 6, and clear the parenthesis. You have -x is equals to 6. Divide both sides by -1. And negative is going to cancel negative from here. And x automatically is equal to -6. So finally, x is equals to 6 or -6. So this is the answer to this question. Now, another reason why we placed a negative sign before the absolute value is that the absolute value must be positive. If it's negative, then you find a way of making it positive by simply placing negative sign before it. For example, the absolute value of 2 is equal to 2. And the absolute value of -2 cannot be -2. Now, this is the reason we place a negative sign before the absolute value. If what you have within the absolute value symbol is a negative value, automatically you place a negative sign before it and clear the absolute value, use a parenthesis, and by the time you distribute this negative sign, use it to multiply this, then you're going to have +2. So the absolute value is always positive, and that is why we use both the negative and the positive. So when the value within the absolute value symbol is a negative value, you place a negative sign outside. As you can see, negative, it will strike this negative from here, and then you have positive. So in summary, the absolute value of 2 is equals to 2, and the absolute value of -2 will also be 2. All you have to do is place a negative sign over here, and this negative sign will automatically make this value that is less than 1 or less than 0 become positive. I hope this makes some sense. All right, so let's now go on to the next question. Example 5. Find the absolute value. Two x minus 1 is equal to 7. So the first thing we are going to do is assume this is positive, and you just put it in parentheses. 2x minus 1 is equal to 7. Now clear the parentheses. 2x minus 1 is equal to 7. Add 1 to both sides in order to isolate 2x. So this will become 2x negative 1 plus 1 is equal to 7 plus 1. So negative 1 plus 1 is 0, and 2x is now equal to 7 plus 1, and that is 8. Divide both sides by 2. And 2 is going to cancel 2 from here. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Therefore, x is equal to 4. Also, two x minus 1, absolute value of 2x minus 1 is equal to 7. Now assume that what you have here is negative, so you place a negative sign outside. So change that now to parentheses. 2x minus 1 is equal to 7. This negative outside is like negative 1. All you have to do is distribute it into the content of the parentheses. In other words, use it to multiply them. So negative 1 times 2x, that gives you negative 2x. Negative 1 times negative 1 gives you positive 1. And so this is equal to 7. Now, to isolate negative 2x, we have to subtract 1 from both sides. So this becomes negative 2x plus 1 minus 1 is equal to 7 minus 1. So plus 1 minus 1 is 0. So you can strike that from here. And negative 2x is equal to 7 minus 1. That gives you 6. So simply divide both sides by negative 2. Negative 2 is going to cancel negative 2 from here. And negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. Therefore, x is equal to negative 3. Now, x is equal to 4 or negative 3. So this is the final answer to this question. All right. Example 6. Find the absolute value find the absolute value. 2 minus 4. The absolute value of 2x plus 3 is equal to negative 18. So the first thing we are going to do is to get rid of these 2 by subtracting 2 from both sides. So this will become 2 minus 2 minus 4. The absolute value of 2x plus 3 is equal to negative 18 minus 2. So negative 2 minus 2 is 0. So strike this from here. And we now have negative 4. The absolute value of 2x plus 3 is equal to negative 18. Negative 2 gives us negative 20. So next is for us to divide both sides by negative 4. Negative 4. So negative 4 is going to cancel negative 4 from here. Negative is going to cancel negative from here. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. So the absolute value of 2x plus 3 is equal to 5. And we can now place this in parentheses. So this becomes 2x plus 3 is equal to 5. And clear the parentheses. 2x plus 3 is equal to 5. Isolate 2x by subtracting 3 from both sides. So 2x plus 3 minus 3 is equal to 5 minus 3. So 3 minus 3 is 0. So we can strike this from here. So 2x is equal to 5 minus 3, and that will give us 2. So now we can divide both sides by 2, and 2. We'll cancel 2 from here, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So x automatically is equals to 1 over 1, and that is equals to 1. A number divided by itself is 1. So this is the answer to this question. And now let's look at the second part of this question. So if we assume that this is negative, then we place a negative outside, and then absolute value of 2x plus 3 is equal to 5. And place that in parentheses, so they become negative 2x plus 3 is equal to 5. We can now distribute, see this as negative 1, distribute that into the content of the parentheses, and negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x, and negative 1 times positive 3 gives us negative 3, and this is equals to 5. So now we can isolate negative 2x by adding 3 to both sides. So this becomes negative 2x minus 3 plus 3 is equal to 5 plus 3. So negative 3 plus 3 is 0. Cancel this from here. And negative 2x is equal to 5 plus 3, and that is 6. That is 8 rather. So divide both sides by negative 2. divide both sides by -2. So -2 is going to cancel -2 from here. -2 divided by -2 is 1, and 8 divided by -2 is -4. Therefore, x is equal to -4. So x is equals to 1 or -4. So this is the final answer to this question, and I hope it makes some sense. All right. Example 7. Find the absolute value. Sorry. Seven plus the absolute value of 2x minus 5 is equals to 4. So the first thing we are going to do is to get rid of 7. So this becomes 7 minus 7 plus the absolute value of 2x minus 5 equals to 4 minus 7. So 7 minus 7 is 0, so this will be out. And we now have the absolute value of 2x minus 5 equals to 4 minus 7, which is -3. Now notice that we have the absolute value equals -3. This is impossible. Therefore, whenever you have this kind of situation, you declare that there is no solution. Absolute value cannot be equals to -3. A negative number cannot be equals to a negative number, so no solution. All right, let's go on to the next question. Example 8. Find the absolute value. The absolute value of 2x minus 7 is equal to the absolute value of 4x plus 6. Now, in the first case, you assume that both are positive, positive, positive. So you just put them in parentheses. 2x minus 7 is equals to 4x plus 6. So now clear the parentheses. So you have 2x minus 7 is equals to 4x plus 6. Now combine like terms. So we can subtract 2x from both sides. And then we're going to have 2 x minus 2x minus 7 is equal to 4x minus 2x plus 6. So 2x minus 2x is 0. So now we have negative 7 is equals to 4x minus 2x, and that gives us 2x plus 6. Now we can isolate 2x by subtracting 6 from both sides. So this will become negative 7 minus 6 is equals to 2x plus 6 minus 6. So plus 6 minus 6 is 0. So negative 7, negative 6 will give us negative 13. So we have negative 13 is equals to 2x. So now divide both sides by 2 by 2, and 2 is going to cancel 2 from here, and negative 13 over 2 is equals to x, or x is equals to negative 13 over 2. Also, let's look at it from the other perspective. The absolute value of 2x minus 7 is equals to the absolute value of 4x plus 6. So now you have to place a negative sign on one of them. Just place a negative sign here, and don't place a negative sign on both sides. Just place it on one side. And now you have, let's now change the absolute value symbol to parentheses. So this becomes 2x minus 7 is equals to negative parentheses 4x plus 6. And when you clear the parentheses, this becomes 2x negative 7 is equals to negative times 4x is negative 4x, and negative times positive 6 is negative 6. So at this point, we can add 4x to both sides. So this will become 2x plus 4x minus 7 is equals to negative 4x plus 4x minus 6. So negative 4x plus 4x is 0, and 2x plus 4x is 6x minus 7 is equals to negative 6. So now we can isolate 6x by adding 7 to both sides. So 6x minus 7 plus 7 is equals to negative 6 plus 7. So negative 7 plus 7 is 0, and 6x is equals to negative 6 plus 7, which is positive 1. Divide both sides by 6, and x is equals to 1, 6. Therefore, x is equals to negative 13 over 2, or 1, 6. So this is the final answer to this question, and I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right, example 9. Find the absolute value. Sorry. Absolute value. The absolute value of 2 plus 2b plus 1 is equals to 3. So now we are going to first we subtract 1 from both sides, and this will become the absolute value of 2 plus 2b plus 1 minus 1 equals to 3 minus 1. And plus 1 minus 1 is 0, so we can simply cancel this from here. And now we have the absolute value of 2 plus 2b equals to 3 minus 1, and that is 2. So now we can simply put this in parentheses. 2 plus 2b is equal to 2. So now clear the parentheses. 2 plus 2b is equals to 2. Isolate 2b by subtracting 2 from both sides. So this will become 2 minus 2 plus 2b is equals to 2 minus 2. So 2 minus 2 is 0. So we can cancel this from here. And now we have 2b is equals to 2 minus 2, which is 0. And now we can divide both sides by 2. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Therefore, b 0 divided by 2 is 0. So b is equals to 0. So this is the first answer. We can also go back and continue from here. The absolute value of 2 plus 2b equals to 2. Now we can place a negative sign here. And if we now replace the absolute value symbol, parentheses, so we have negative, open parentheses, 2 plus 2b is equals to 2. We can, this is like negative 1. We can divide both sides by negative 1. Both sides by negative 1. And negative 1 is going to cancel negative 1 from here. So now we have 2 plus 2b is equals to 2 divided by negative 1, which is negative 2. So now we can isolate 2b by subtracting 2 from both sides. So 2 minus 2 plus 2b is equal to negative 2 minus 2. So 2 minus 2 is 0. So this is out. And 2b is now equal to negative 2 minus 2, and that will give you negative 4. So we can simply divide both sides by 2. and 2, of course, is going to cancel 2 from here. Two divided by 2 is 1. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Therefore, B is equals to negative 2. So finally, B is equals to 0 or negative 2. So this is the final answer to this question, and I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's go on to the next one. Example 10. Find the absolute value. Find the absolute value. Absolute value of negative 4 minus 3n over 4 equals to 2. Now, to solve this problem, first we are going to multiply both sides by 4. So this will become 4 times the absolute value of negative 4 minus 3n over 4 is equals to 2 times 4. So now this 4 can simply cancel this 4 from here. And now we have the absolute value of negative 4 minus 3n is equal to 2 times 4, and that is 8. Now we can remove the absolute value and replace that with the parentheses. So negative 4 minus 3n is equal to positive 3. So now clear the parentheses. So you now have negative 4 minus 3n is equals to 8. So now we can add 4 to both sides in order to isolate negative 3n. So this will become negative 4 plus 4 minus 3n is equals to 8 plus 4. So negative 4 plus 4 is 0. This is out. Now we have negative 3n is equals to 8 plus 4, and that is 12. So now we can divide both sides by negative 3. And negative 3, we'll cancel negative 3 from here. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1, and 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. Therefore, n is equals to negative 4 on one hand. On the other hand, we can now write the absolute value of negative 4 minus 3n is equals to 8. Place a negative sign here if we assume that the content of the absolute value is negative, so we place a negative sign outside. So change the absolute value symbol to parentheses. So we have negative 4, negative 3n is equals to 8. Now you can divide both sides by negative 1, and negative is going to cancel negative from here. So negative 4 minus 3n is equals to 8 divided by negative 1, and that gives you negative 8. So now to isolate negative 3n, we have to add 4 to both sides. So negative 4 plus 4 minus 3n is equals to negative 8 plus 4. And this would cancel. So negative 3n is equal to negative 8 plus 4, and that will give us negative 4. So simply divide both sides by negative 3. So negative 3 is going to cancel negative 3 from here, and negative is going to cancel negative from here. Therefore, n is equals to 4 over 3. So n is equal to negative 4 or 4 over 3. So this is the answer to this question, and I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's go on to the next question. Example 11. Find the absolute value. Its absolute value of 5p plus 8 minus 5 is equal to 11. So first we are going to add 5 to both sides, and this will become 8. Absolute value of 5p plus 8 minus 5 plus 5 equals to 11 plus 5. So negative 5 plus 5 is 0. So you can strike it from here. And we now have 8 absolute value of 5p plus 8 is equals to 11 plus 5 is 16. So now we can divide both sides by 8. So 8 is going to cancel 8 from here. Then we now have the absolute value of 5p plus 8 is equal to 16 divided by 8, and that gives you 2. So now change the absolute value to parentheses. So 5p plus 8 is equals to 2. Clear the parentheses. So 5p plus 8 is equals to 2. Subtract 8 from both sides. So 5p plus 8 minus 8 is equals to 2 minus 8. So positive 8 minus 8 is 0. So 5p is equals to 2 minus 8, and that gives you negative 6. So now divide both sides by 5. So 5 is going to cancel 5 from here, and p is now equal to negative 6 over 5. On the other hand, the absolute value of 5p plus 8 is equals to 2. Assign a negative sign. Place a negative sign before the absolute value symbol, and now replace that with parentheses. 5p plus 8 is equals to 2. Divide both sides by negative 1, and negative 1 is going to cancel negative 1 from here. So 5p plus 8 is equals to divided by negative 1, and that is negative 2. Now subtract 8 from both sides. So 5p plus 8 minus 8 is equals to negative 2 minus 8, and 8 minus 8 is 0. So 5p is equals to negative 2, negative 8 gives you negative 10. So divide both sides by 5. So 5 is going to cancel 5 from here. Then p is now equal to negative 10 divided by 5, which is negative 2. Therefore, p is equal to negative 6 over 5, or negative 2. So this is the answer to this question, and I hope it makes some sense. Alright, so this will be all for today. So if you find this video useful, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like the video, share the link with your friends, and also remember to click on the notification bell. Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you in our next video. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.